Getting back into BookTube in 2025, 2024 made me think a lot about my old bookstagram account that I used to have from 2014 to 2017, which the things that were popular at that time were one of my favorite books, We Were Liars. Rick Riordan was huge. He was branching off into different series beyond Percy Jackson. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Leigh Bardugo was popping up. John Green was still huge with the movies coming out in this time span. And then the creators were really creating, and we had The Legend, Poland Bananas books, but I was also watching Sasha over at Book Utopia, and Tasha Polis, and Katie Tastic, and Tiernan the booktuber, and Jessie the reader, and Little Book Owl, and Ariel Bissett was still making strictly book videos. It was a really, really, really busy time, and a lot of these people aren't making consistent content or even the same content or content at all, but they inspired so much of what I was reading, what I was buying, and then what I was choosing to share. That came out in the form of a very methodical bookstagram grid. It has since changed to just like a bum account where I removed all of the followers, but I didn't want to delete the account because I wanted the archive of all the posts. Right off the bat, I can see that I had 3 very distinct periods of time on this Instagram account. First glance is crazy. This was also like Tumblr was happening. Okay, I'm back to the beginning right now. First post, we have an open book and it looks like it's probably one of those old Lux books. And I began for the Christmas Booktubeathon. Wow, Booktubeathon. Oh my gosh, T. This is the first post that is left on the account. It is December 21st, 2014. But in the caption, I say I'm changing my theme. So I deleted even older posts that I couldn't even tell you about. If I Stay, Paper Towns, like this was adaptation central. Like I was going to the movie theater for book-related things all the time. We've got the Fifth Wave. Oh my gosh, 13 Reasons Why. And all the book tags. So like here's one of all of my bookmarks, which we've got so many Hunger Games bookmarks. And also a lot of Penguins. The City of Bones series, which I don't even think I read City of Heavenly Fire. I'll be honest, I can admit that now. Shatter Me, that's coming back right now. And when I see people posting about it, they have like 17 books now. And it was just like 3 in novellas. Am I wrong? Fifth Wave, yeah, big thing. This is like an incredibly overexposed photo, but I feel like I may be edited like that. I don't know. Okay, we have a tweet from when I got my I Am Book Lion shirt, and it was like Christine responding to the tweet, and I felt like I needed to memorialize that on my bookstagram, which is fitting. I was taking pictures of like what my snacks were while I was reading my book. So here we have maybe a Fifth Wave and a bunch of Lifesavers. We've got these like Halloween like chocolate eyes on a book. The pomegranates, there's just food everywhere. And then we've entered an era of like taking photos over a white sheet so that the background looks the same. It didn't last long, there's like 10. This is a huge dump during a shelf reorganization. Cinder, Me, Earl and the Dying Girl. Oh my gosh. If I Stay, Rumble, Ignite Me, the Twilight books. Sarah Dessen, I forgot about her. I do remember really liking Warm Bodies, and I think maybe it's, I don't know, I kind of want to reread that. To All the Boys I Loved Before, we're in 2015 now. We've got this actually beautiful picture of the Lost Hero series by Rick Riordan. I remember when Blood of Olympus came out, that was so big here on BookTube and Bookstagram. Yeah, look, here's a photo of the 3 Shatter Me books. What's new? Is it like recently new stuff being added? I need to figure this out. Literally a photo of Clockwork Angel and Tumblr open on the computer is wild. Also these captions are so telling of me being 14 or 15. The melted crayon art, that was such a thing. I remember I had these all over my room. I had like a Hunger Games one, a Divergent one, a Twilight one. Okay, we've got our first spread of comic books, which I actually still have all of these. And I remember finding them and it kind of like sparking that I should get back into them. But it didn't, nobody was talking about them, so it was really hard to find new things because it's such an intimidating world to get into. Some Jello, that's very Percy Jackson. This was such a phase, being obsessed with We Were Liars and also listening to Lana Del Rey. And in my brain, I still to this day correlate specifically the Born to Die Lana Del Rey album with the Mara Dyer trilogy, which is something that I recently brought home from my parents and I want to reread it, just like to see how it holds up out of pure curiosity. But like this was an aesthetic, as you would say. Tifios was such a big deal. Yeah, here we go. Here's some Mara Dyer books. I remember specifically loving how this photo came out of paper towns and me putting it over this map that I had taken down from my wall and putting the push pins that matched the cover on it, and then my movie ticket from just to let everybody know that I'd gone and seen Paper Towns. Here's Booktubeathon in the summer of 2015, The Martian by Andy Weir, which I didn't love then, and I unhauled it. But I think now I would love that book, and I probably had bad opinions back then. I don't trust past me. Total Booktubeathon wrap-up, page count 2,187. Wait a second. I didn't post my wrap-up from 2015. I just left the account in 2015 and then didn't pick it back up until summer of 2016, and now this is a new Booktubeathon, but the wrap-up for the following year is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson, Stolen. That was Little Book Owl's favorite book. Life and Death by Stephanie Meyer, The Gender Swap Twilight, the Final Fifth Wave book, Bridge to Terabithia in Room. What was I doing to myself? This photo of Legend back here actually kind of goes hard. And I can tell that it's a library book. So I was a library lover even back then. I do remember that was like a little bit of like specific freedom I had when I like didn't quite have my license yet, and I could ride my bike from my house to my library by myself and I could find books and whatnot. I was so obsessed with the Hunger Games because like who wasn't? But this is adventurous. Okay, we're starting to hit a new theme. Tumblr, Pinterest, flat lays. The Drew Barrymore book, I remember being obsessed with that. I wonder what I would think about it now. This new theme, it's black and white. On the flip, every other photo has an arm and a book in it. So I don't know how I came up with this. Nicholas Sparks, that I remember like reading these books on the school bus, which is really funny, like really funny. My iPod Classic, which I actually just recently dug up. And I'll stand by this, the If I Stay soundtrack, that's good. All of that fictional music in there, that's good. Here's that Queen of Book Jungle shirt. This is terrifying of Lux. I was obsessed with these mint colored Converse. And look how beat they are here. This is very Tumblr. Red Queen was a huge deal. Something that I actually do want to see people getting back into, because I would. Here's another comic book one, Saga, which this is September 2016, and I actually still haven't read Saga. I have a huge chunk of them waiting for me, and I haven't actually picked them up. I've just been slowly collecting them when I find them, like, for good prices. Which is maybe stupid. I should stop. I should start reading them and make sure I like them. This Camp Half-Blood post kind of slays. The Lost Hero with the orange camp bandana. A birthday book haul. It looks like I've got a new set of the Percy Jackson books. The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Life as We Knew It. And This Song Will Save Your Life. Fangirl! And then the first two ACOTAR books in those Ugly Human hardcovers. This is cute. I stand by it. This Perks of Being a Wallflower with the dinosaurs on it. These old Hardy Boys books. I still collect them. The selection. This is in many of these photos. I never read it. Here's a fat stack of comics. So this is like when I did start going to the comic book store and picking things up. I keep thinking about this lately because Brittany Broski is always talking about reading the Sherlock Holmes stories. And I don't even know, like, what is in this collection. Something else that I stand by is this, like, box set of Six of Crows with the black edges and the red edges. I'm pretty anti-black sprayed edges because I think they look crusty. But this one pulled it off. Fangirl, that's something I specifically want to reread. It keeps popping up. I feel like it's following me these days. This is a cool photo. It's a book tag. Bookish map tag. The theme has switched again. These are all outdoor photos now. So we really swung away from that black and white situation. And these get really colorful and really pretty, if I do say so. Yeah, I see the vision here. I remember I would like load up a duffel bag of books and I would go to the park and then I would do a photo shoot and I would take like different jackets and stuff to switch it up. Yeah, the Shiver books. I didn't have a good cell phone and I didn't have a camera back then. I think I was taking all of these photos on an iPod Touch, holding up the universe. Ugh, I remember just being obsessed with Jennifer Neven because I loved the first book she put out, and then that second one was just kind of like not the same, like I was chasing that high, but I wanted to like it so bad. These photos look very Twilight. I'm shocked we haven't come across, oh, here it is. Here's Twilight. This is a very Twilight setting for all of these things. The Girls by Emma Cline, that has been popping up a lot lately, actually. I've been seeing this in bookstores and on BookTube left and right. I remember having a couple of like books that I didn't care about that I'd like randomly gotten from the used bookshop to use in photos like these, where like if it got a little wet it would be okay. But I did choose to stick this copy of The Hunger Games into a snow pile. I think I had since then gotten a new set of all the hardcovers, but this is ridiculous. Why did I do this? Who let me? The beginning of everything. I remember this book being a huge deal, and I think like Jessie the Reader really liked it. We're in 2017 now. 13 Reasons Why is still around. Here's Warm Bodies again. The Coldest Girl in Cold Town. I remember just not being able to finish this. It's DNF'd. I think the bookmark is still in it on my shelf in my childhood bedroom. Picture Me Gone, May Grossoff. I believe these books were heavily influenced by Ariel Bissett. Like, me picking up these books were from her recommendation for sure. We Were Liars is not in here as much as I thought it was going to be, but this book was my personality. The Raven Boys. Forgot about that one. These captions are so embarrassing. And then the last, most recent post is from June 2017. It's a photo of the unbecoming of Mara Dyer, a very dramatic photo. Question of the post: are there any songs or books that are linked in your mind? Answer of the post: for some reason, the Mara Dyer books remind me of Bel Air by Lana Del Rey. You can kind of see that I like grew up a little bit on this, which is really weird, but it takes me back to specific eras of BookTube, and you can tell what was influenced by who, because every little corner on BookTube had like a different level of interest or a different niche. Like, you can tell I was watching like Peruse Project for my fantasy recommendations, and you could tell that I was definitely following Poland Bananas for all of my like dystopian trilogies. And then you've got like those kind of romancy things, which I think a lot of those probably came from Book Utopia. I think a lot of these things I still have, or I would be really interested to pick up and see what I think. But these photos are very, very, very much so 10 years old. Like, has Bookstagram overtaken BookTube? But I feel like BookTube has flipped and is in a resurgence. Maybe I should do a video where I see if I stand by any of these old books. It is actually pretty impressive to see how many of these I have held on to, still have in my collection behind me, or like know for sure are still on my shelf in my childhood home. But there's also so much that is different, and it's really cool to have this 10-year-old like time capsule of what I was reading at the time in which I was reading the most in my life, because what else was I doing? Especially like because these seem to revolve around like summer and winter booktubeathons, where I would carve out like the entire week to do nothing but read. So